Coming to you live from the KDWN studios on South Durango, Pawn Talk Live. Hosted by the voice of the Las Vegas Wranglers, Dave Carney, and the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas, Michael Mack. Call in at 257-5396. That's 257-5396. And find out what your valuables are worth from the top expert in the pawn industry. Now, Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
Here on News Talk 720 KDWN, I'm Dave Carney, joined by the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn here in Las Vegas, Michael Mack. Michael, good to see you. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling great. Great, beautiful Friday. We're right in the heat of March Madness, and it couldn't be better.
No, it was a great show, and I joke because you were with us here on Live Las Vegas. I'm sure everybody heard you holding over here with us. Albie Sure still in studio with us. Great program today on Live Las Vegas. Want to thank all the callers that joined us here and gave some really good opinions. We're opening up the phone lines again for you this hour, 257-5396. That's 257 KDWN. Get online with Michael Mack, fourth generation pawnbroker, and find out what your valuables are worth from a top expert in the industry. Now, Michael, we're going to start off today's show with talking about the big news. The Great Estate Buyers Roadshow is just about here. It starts Sunday. Tell us all about it, and how excited are you?
Well, you know, Dave, there's many types of estate shows that blow into town, and I spoke about it yesterday on the Morning Blend. A lot of out-of-state companies come in, and they really take advantage of the local public. And so I've decided with a group, Alan Richardson out of Florida, and a group of experts to host a local-based antique roadshow, per se. So this is going to be an estate buyers roadshow. It's at Palace Station starting this Sunday from 10 to 5. We're going to run Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday at April Fools. And I tell the people, even on Morning Blend yesterday, no fool's gold on April Fool's Day.
That's right.
Don't be bringing it out. But we're going to be having experts buying coins, jewelry, paper currency, antiques, jewelry, watches, and it can be jewelry that's broken. It doesn't have to be, it could be one earring that you lost the back of. So you could bring that in. Of course, designer handbags. I'm the designer handbag guy, so you have to bring
king of designer handbags.
So we're going to have experts in all the different fields, art and such. So come on down. It'll be a lot of fun. You can, it'll be a great spectators event too, because you can sit in the audience and watch the different type of items. It's kind of like Antique Roadshow or Pawn Stars Live.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get Pawn Stars Live without those ridiculous costumes that they wear down at the Jerry's Nugget version of Pawn Stars Live. I'm kidding. I love our guys down there at Las Vegas Gold and Jewelry, but wow, what a weird show, man. I kind of walked in on it the other day when I was down at the Golden Nugget, which I don't get down too often.
Hey, be
but
careful
it was
walking in on things.
I tell you what,
it's a puppet show, isn't it?
It's kind of a puppet show, man. It's really, really weird. I learned my lesson, but the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow, this is no joke. This is something for the folks of Las Vegas to really come out, and before tax time. And here's the big thing. Before April 14th comes up and you have to dole out however many thousands of dollars you've got to pony to Uncle Sam, which for most of us making any sort of money, that's what we have to do every single year. We've got to pay the government their share. But before you've got that tax day, you've got an opportunity to take down some unwanted gold, jewelry, or heck, maybe even something that is wanted, but you need to get rid of it. What a perfect opportunity. Now, also, Michael, you guys are going to have like $5 million in cash down there to buy. So again, no fool's gold, but no fooling around either. You're taking names.
We're ready to go, Dave. And we have to finance these cattle that run on graze.
That's
on
right.
land.
You got to have those. Got to have those free feedlots. I kind of wonder where that cattle was going to. If that was going to a certain restaurant chain, or if it goes to more independent and local local spots. You have to wonder about that.
Dave, this show's going to be great, and it has been driven a lot by Pawn Talk Live listeners. They've asked us to have such an event, centrally located at the Palace Station, right in the center of town, and there's no obligation. You can come in for a free appraisal. You can come in for a free evaluation. Come in anytime, and we'll take good care of you. And just come on in, have some fun. We're going to have a lot of fun down there.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast, and admission is absolutely free, so you don't have to worry about spending any money to get into the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow. And like you've been hearing on the commercial that's been playing all around town, this really is fun for the entire family. So kids, if they're with their parents, they can learn a whole lot, see a whole lot what's going on. And then for folks that do have these great pieces, this is the opportunity of a lifetime to just get rid of it once. You don't have to drive around. You don't have to shop around. No haggling and hassling. Maybe there's some haggling going on in there, but you don't have to go a million places to move something, and you don't have to feel unsafe about where it is you're taking a high-end piece of, handbag, jewelry, a designer art piece or something like that.
You know what's great about this is Michael Mack, and just from, you can ask around anywhere. I mean, he's introduced integrity, honesty, and just like a family ship to the pawn industry. And it's been something amazing just to see the way he deals with people and the entire staff, specifically at Max Pawn. And it's just nice to know that you can have that honesty within business, and someone who's just going to be real with you. And it's something to be spoken for. Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Al. I think we're very fortunate in Las Vegas to have some of the best pawn shops in the country, and you'll be treated fair, and that's what we talk about on Pawn Talk Live. And one of the great things that came about from the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow is something very interesting that hit the AP wire. I think you saw it last night, Dave, but we had a client that came into our store that found a very rare pencil drawing of characters of creatures. And I showed it to you in my office.
Did. I got a first look at this. Oh, boy.
And so if you go to our Facebook page or our pawntalklive.com, you'll be able to see this. But one of my clients came in, and he had this. He bought this piece for $5 or $6 at a street fair in Canada about 10 years ago. And he thought it was cool because it had a rat on there, and it had a few different characters that he was fond of. And so he brought it home, and he put it in his office. He came down to my office a few days ago, and he says, "Michael, what do you think of this?" I looked on the back of it, and it said Steve Pilcher. And on the back of that, it also said, "Please do not reproduce." So being the guy I am that did the research, we Googled Steve Pilcher, and
Mr. Due Diligence.
Yes.
We happened to find out that Steve Pilcher is Pixar's #1 illustrator. The gentleman who created Shrek, Toy Story figures, the #1 guy possibly in the world.
Business,
yeah.
And this was his high school project, and it was lost. And so I got on the phone, and I didn't think I was going to be able to get through to Steve Pixler. Got on the phone right away with him, talked to him. I said, "Hey, Mr. Pilcher, I think I have something. We're a pawn shop. We're kind of a high-end store here in Las Vegas. I think we have something for you." And he goes, "Really, really?" He goes, gives me his cell number. Now, I get this guy's cell number. I text him the picture, and he got back to me, and he said, "Hey, I want to give you some money for it." And so what we're going to do is, of course, we're not accepting any money. We want to get this back to him, and we think it's a great story. And you just never know the type of items that come through a pawn shop.
No, and you never know the types of items that come through the Max Pawn Superstore. That's really the point. And again, we want to open up the phone lines, Al, 257-5396, 257 KDWN. We did it at the beginning of the show. And we've got Ron on the line with us. Ron, thanks so much for calling the program. Ron, it looks like you have a Pinocchio picture. Tell us a little bit about this piece.
This may sound crazy, but I have a Pinocchio picture that is dated in 1955.
Okay.
And it's big. It's like 24 by about 30 inches long. And it's a pretty nice size. It's in perfect shape. It's still in the frame and everything. If I bring it down to the show, okay, and have it appraised, and let's say it would be appraised at $500, and let's say in a couple months I might need some money, and I take it to the pawn people and say, "Look, this is appraised at $500. Can I borrow $100 on it? Is it possible?"
Absolutely. This is the type of venue where we're going to not know. You're tied into Max Pawn, which we're going to be one of the evaluators at this show. So we're going to give you the estimate. You can take that anywhere you want, but from there, we'll give you a pawn value. So in future, if you ever needed to get a loan on that, we'll be able to guarantee that for you.
That is absolutely great. So you're actually putting a premium on a picture and a price on a picture in a way,
Well, we're Antique Roadshow on steroids.
Pardon?
We're the Antique Roadshow on steroids. The Antique Roadshow, they give you evaluations. They say, "Oh yeah, it's worth $500," but
I've been on it once before.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
But they don't buy your stuff.
What kind of item did you have?
You're right. You're right.
What kind of item did you put on the Antique Roadshow?
Well, I had a reproduction of a painting by
Mickey Mouse.
by a very famous Leger, a famous French painter, and this was on the Antique Roadshow in Nashville, Tennessee, and they priced it at $3,500. I think it was the actual prototype of the original that is in the Guggenheim Museum up in New York City, because it had all kind of marks and stuff like that you would line up, on a press.
Wow.
And it's what they call a silk screen.
Do you still have that item?
Couldn't. Believe it or not, it got lost with a second-hand dealer in the mail.
Ron,
We'll bring down Pinocchio, and we won't lie to you, I swear.
Exactly.
Okay, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much, Ron. We're going to step aside, take our first look at traffic here at Pawn Talk Live. When we come back, Michael Schulman in our fashion report. Later on, Ashford Gordon, our visiting pawnbroker of the day, and more with Michael and myself. Stay tuned.
And at 2:15 in the Kid on One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, a couple of accidents on the Beltway right now. 215 northbound, that's at Flamingo. Look out for some excess of debris in that one. East 215, the Las Vegas Boulevard on-ramp. South 15 as you go south 95 near the Spaghetti Bowl. Craig at the 15, that one's new. Jones at Lone Mountain, Craig at Jones, and Stewart at Pecos. For the Kid on One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas, and News Talk 720 KDWN.
Lake Levada, host of the Real Estate Zone, broker-owner for First Prime Realty Group. Listen in every Saturday from 7 to 8 a.m. while he answers all of your real estate questions. That's every Saturday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. on 720 KDWN.
The world's fastest American-made motorsport is returning to Las Vegas. Experience your right to witness 8,000 horsepower nitro-burning cars tear down the track and have unlimited access in the pits at the SummitRacing.com NHRA Nationals this weekend at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Kids 12 and under are free in general admission. Get tickets today at LVMS.com or call 800-644-4444. You're a part of it. The NHRA Nitro Generation. American-made.
If you're looking to lower your mortgage payments and been turned down elsewhere, you need to listen to Mortgage Makeovers with Ken Michaels this Sunday from 6 to 7 a.m. Mortgage Makeovers with Ken Michaels here on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Hey, this is Rabbi Yitzwine of Young Israel Aish of Las Vegas. Please join me on The Rabbi Show every Sunday morning as we explore how you can expand joy and gratitude in your life to make every day a more fulfilling experience. Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Hey, Las Vegas, it's Al B. Shore and the voice of the Las Vegas Wranglers, Dave Carney. Join us for the best that Las Vegas has to offer. Entertainment, sports, dining, and nightlife. Live in Las Vegas. Tune in every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN, streaming worldwide at KDWN.com. And you can find all your Pawn Talk Live information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week online. Go to PawnTalkLive.com. Very easy to remember, PawnTalkLive.com. You can check out photos of myself, Michael, even see some of Albie, and I think we've even got a picture of Flavor Flav up there on Pawn Talk Live when he stopped into the store just a few months back. So lots of good stuff. You can also keep connected with the entire calendar of events who we're having on this show, as well as archived episodes. So PawnTalkLive.com. Coming back here into the show, guys, the phone line's still going to be completely wide open until we get our expected callers. The number to reach us here in the studio, 257-5396. That's 257-KDWN. Get online with fourth-generation pawnbroker Michael Mack. Now, Michael, we've got the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow coming up Sunday through Tuesday, the 30th of the month through the 1st of April down at Palace Station. And we had a great call from Ron there. On the other side of this break, Ron has got a Pinocchio piece, 24 by 30, 1955. There's a real good chance, speaking with Ron and hearing some of his other items in the past, there's a real good chance, Michael, that this is an original kind of a Disney print.
You never know. And that's what we saw earlier in the week with Mr. Pilcher's piece, original piece. So you may have something in the garage. You may have something you've had for years and years rolled up. And it could be anything. We really encourage people to come down with multiple items, whether it's you have a lot of jewelry, maybe it's a vintage designer handbag, maybe it's a piece of art or a print. One big item is paper currency. If you have a $5,000 bill, a $5,000 bill could be worth as much as $25,000, and a $10,000 bill is worth as much as $100,000. So,
how many of those in print actually? I mean,
that's the crazy. And I just did a little research on the $10,000 bill. The most $10,000 bills were actually held here in Las Vegas, and there were about 6 of them on display when Binion's used to have the $1 million on display.
Yeah.
He had several of them, and that was the most ever seen. There's 200 known in existence right now in circulation, so there's not that many out there.
Wow. And I'm sure that they're probably not really in circulation, so to speak. I mean, these 200 are held by probably some of the most affluent folks and collectors in the world. But at the same time, just like we find out from incredible stories from Northern California, Michael, where a family's walking along their own land and they stumble across upwards of $10 million in buried gold. So
correct.
I guess this really could happen to anybody. Check grandma's little purse pocket and all those things, where she keeps her change. There might be a $10,000 bill stuffed in
The
there.
only thing
Stay out of grandma's
thing I
purse.
walk into when I go in my backyard is maybe an unwanted doggy do.
Yeah, exactly. And an unwanted attitude from the kid for not picking it up. And you're just like, hey, what's this still doing here? They're like, yeah, that's for you, Dad. Well, this is not something that Michael is going to be taking at the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow. Do not bring unwanted dog excrement down to this Palace Station. It will be met with disdain. I can pretty much assure you of that. And again, the phone lines are open, 257-5396, 257 KDWN, and Michael is giving away the farm, and really it's Michael and Beasley Broadcasting coming together here, giving away some sweet new prizes. I know that we had our good friend Mike Pettrell here from Beasley dropped off some brand new prizes down at the store today. So DVD prize packages, CD prize packages, plus a lot of great stuff from Max Pawn.
And, I want to hear from those listeners that can't make it down this weekend. If you can't make it down, we want to hear on the radio right now. If you have an item, we can give you an appraisal right over the air. And from our friend at Curry Enterprises, we're going to give away a dozen donuts right now if you call. The next caller that calls in with a great item, a dozen donuts.
Those Winchell donuts are so good.
Wow, Winchell's donuts. Those are the best.
Oh, absolutely.
Those are great. And those are attached to a lot of Subways. So what you can do is you can get the Winchell's, immediately feel bad about it by eating fresh right next door. You get that Winchell's donut, you're like, man. Well, that's all right.
Michael, when does Dave get his HBO special?
I'm waiting. I am with him. He is awesome.
I just want to go to Netflix now. You know what I mean? That seems to be the new thing now. We got to have Netflix. I mean, you look at House of Cards, all the great stuff they're producing on Netflix. But again, phone lines open, 257-5396, 257 KDWN. Now, while we're waiting for Michael Shulman to give us a call here in the Fashion Report, Michael, I'd like you to break down Pawn 101 again for the listeners here that may be just joining us for the very first time here on Pawn Talk Live, and just give us a real quick 30,000-foot view of what pawn is and why it's different than selling.
Well, Dave, pawn business is one of the oldest businesses in the world. Also, with a business of ill repute, I think that's second to the pawn business. But it's been around for generations and generations, and prior to the banking world being there. People needed loans. They had a collateral, whether it was a piece of jewelry or a piece of gold, and they would get loans against it. And that's what a pawn is. You're getting a loan against an item or an asset that you have. So pawn is different than selling. A lot of people think pawn shop, when they see the words pawn, it means I'm going to go down and get rid of something or sell it. And a lot of people walk into our store every day and say, I want to pawn this, because that sounds like the lingo I need to use. But really what it is when we do clarify it when clients do come in, we say, do you want to sell this, sir or ma'am? Or would you like to get a loan on it? And a loan is, in Nevada, is a 90-day loan. And at the end of the 90 days at Max Pawn, we give a 30-day extension and courtesy extension. We text or call every customer at the termination of the loan in case you forgot about your item. And 90% of the people who do pawn with us come back and get their stuff. And that's quite astounding to a lot of people. They're like, really? No, and that's what we really like to see in our business. We want to see people come back and get their merchandise or get their item or their possession because, it's quite sentimental. You might come in, you might get a loan on your wedding ring. You might need some instant cash to take care of a family emergency or need. And majority of these people come back. The old school pawnbroker of old was kind of excited when you lost your item because he could sell that item for a big markup. And so when my brother and I got in the business years ago and we started Super Pawn, we said the asset truly isn't the merchandise that's on Al's wrist. The asset is Al, the customer. And so we want Al to keep coming back and doing business with us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point and great explanation there. So if you didn't know, now you know what the difference in pawning and selling is and what one might work out best for you. And again, for the next caller here on Pawn Talk Live, the number to reach us, 257-5396, 257-5396. We've got a dozen donuts from a Winchell's Donut. How many locations are there around town now? Do you know, like 30?
Oh, boy.
There's a ton, isn't there?
You know what? In terms of the Subway, I believe it's, 176 or 174, and obviously Team Curry has been doing a great job in terms of, pairing them up now, of course, obviously with Subway, Eat Fresh.
That's right.
And Winchell's Donuts, which are absolutely amazing because when I get an opportunity, I scurry by in the morning. And
he says he scurries by, meaning he's doing the walk of shame there. That's right.
Scurry with Curry. And, we have it's always a fresh selection of it looks like the rainbow, a vast array of colors and frostings. And am I making you hungry right now?
You're making me something.
I'm ready for Pizzarilla.
Hey, Kat, is there any milk around here?
Milk and cookies?
Yeah, right.
She wanted in the fresh water, but we need some milk.
I know that's more hydrating, a little bit less whey involved in that one. Now, again, we're going to be giving you a dozen donuts, and it's not like we're going to give you a box of donuts, guys. You get a gift certificate that you can pick up from the world famous Max Pawn, northeast corner of Sahara and Jones, and pick up your dozen donuts. Again, the number to reach is 257-5396, 257 KDWN.
You know, it would be really good too. I think next Friday is going to be the most exciting because you can go down to the brand new Subway right there on Harmon and Las Vegas
Boulevard.
Right across from the Aria.
That's right.
You know that big, beautiful screen?
Yes.
The brand new Subway is going in right there, and I think we'll launch next Friday. Very excited about that, so congratulations to Team Curry.
Boy, that is going to be something. And I tell you what, the sandwich makers at that front better be prepared for the rush of their life, because that's going to be like having the biggest lunch rush all day, every day, 365 days a year.
And what's great about Team Curry, what they've put together is they started, I guess, the 24-hour Subway deal. So it's been, obviously it's doing great, and they've become number one in the country. So it's been an exciting time for Subway as well.
Well, you've got to say Subway has made a huge inroad here, not just with their marketing campaigns, which are fantastic, but by the fact that, Americans in general are now starting to recognize a little bit more of their health profile, and they want to take this matter into their own hands. They don't want to, go out and consume 37 times trans fat that they need to in their entire life in one meal. Okay. Right. So when you go to some place like Subway, you can get, a line of great stuff. And I think the athletes that have been endorsing this have really been helping move the dial in a different direction.
Yeah, Mike Strahan.
That's right. Yes.
Actually, the football player, we'll say football.
Robert Griffin.
European,
different guy. Okay.
Pele.
Pele's coming aboard, huh?
Pele aboard as well.
Really?
Absolutely.
Gosh,
the international,
I haven't seen the Pele commercial yet.
Oh yeah, Pele and RG3, obviously. Mike Strahan. And it's great and Jared.
Yeah, and Jared. Yeah, there's Jared. Who's the Olympian swimmer that likes to smoke a little ganja?
Oh, Mike Phillips.
Yeah, he's also on there. He's just like, hey, listen, when you win 25 gold medals and then you want to get stoned, go to Subway. That's where you're going to eat fresh. That's Michael Phillips. Great endorser there, by the way.
Got the munchies.
Absolutely, got the munchies, but eat healthy. Okay, absolutely. Get that veggie delight.
But it's also healthy because obviously we just talked about it earlier. The new location, which is at Sunrise Hospital, is next to the Children's Hospital elevators right there. So obviously, if it's endorsed by the hospitals as well, it's a healthy meal.
Yeah, it better be if it's right next to the hospital, right? But then again, they used to prescribe all sorts of stuff. I don't know if I trust the hospitals either. I've got an Obamacare story for you. I don't know what to tell you how scary that stuff is going to be. But again,
I see you're bent out about that.
Oh my gosh, it's the worst thing.
Can you say bent out of shape?
$157 a month for no insurance. Okay, so for the benefit of having no insurance, I get to pay them $157. I thought, no thanks. I'll take the tax hit next year. Different story, different show. We'll try to cover that next week because obviously the open enrollment date ends at the end of March. So for the Americans that do decide or do not decide to get aboard that program, your last chance is coming up with about 3 days.
So Dave, I believe it's 6 million people have signed up thus far, and they anticipated 7 million people?
I would imagine, yes. Okay. I would imagine.
Are we one of them?
I am not one of them.
I know. I didn't think so. But you seem kind of angry about it.
Listen, I wish it would have been affordable.
Absolutely.
That's what the Affordable Care Act. It's kind of a play on words in the wrong direction. It's the Unaffordable Care Act. But again, different story, different show. 257-5396, our number here on Pawn Talk Live. Now, Michael is giving away not only a dozen donuts, courtesy of Al here and Subway Restaurants, Team Curry, but we've also got gifts, guys, courtesy of Beasley Broadcasting and the world-famous Max Pawn. Get out your cell phones or your home phone or your car phone if you still got one of those. 257-5396. Get online with Michael Mack. We're going to step aside, take our second look at traffic. When we come back, more talk here on Pawn Talk Live.
Max Pawn!
The KDWN award-winning morning news with John Schaefer, weekdays from 5 to 9 a.m. Then AP News at the top and bottom of every hour throughout the day. Lock into News Talk 720 KDWN, where locals come to talk. Daybreak Vegas, Alan Stock, the KDWN Legal Hour, Boomer's Brain Trust, Phil's Gang, The Source, Live Las Vegas, Pawn Talk Live, Jerry Doyle, Ask the Experts, Sports X Radio, News Talk 720 KDWN, where locals come to talk. A new day, a new dawn. News Talk 720 KDWN. The dawn of today's talk radio. KDWN Las Vegas, a Beasley Broadcast Group station.
AP Update. I'm Diane Kepley. A possible development in the crisis in Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin has called President Obama to talk about the crisis. A White House statement indicates they talked about a U.S. proposal for a diplomatic resolution to the crisis. The framework for that proposal was presented to the Russian foreign minister at a meeting with Secretary of State Kerry at The Hague earlier this week. In the call today, President Obama is said to have underscored U.S. support for a diplomatic solution that includes the current government of Ukraine and calls for a pullback of Russian forces. Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon just moments ago also called for efforts to cool the tensions.
I strongly urge the Russian and Ukrainian leaders to de-escalate the situation, avoid the hasty actions, and immediately engage in direct and constructive dialogue.
There have been reports of Russian troop buildups along the border with Ukraine. AP Update. I'm Diane Kepley.
The news brought to you by Farmers Insurance. At Farmers Insurance, they believe the more you know, the better you can plan. Find your local agent at farmers.com or call 888-96-FARMERS. Brought to you by Farmers Insurance.
It's 2:32 in the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. Do have a new incident on the 15 northbound. That's at Spring Mountain. Some excessive debris there. 215 southbound. That's north of Charleston. East 215, the Las Vegas Boulevard on-ramp affected. Craig at the 15. That's in the cleanup phase in North Las Vegas. Jones at Lone Mountain. Craig at Jones. And Pecos at Stewart. From the KDWN Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
You hear a lot of talk about gold these days. What, with the stock market and more upheaval than tumbleweeds in a tornado? The world-famous Max Pawn is your gold spot in Las Vegas. Don't just send your gold into some random TV guy for pennies on the dollars. Go where you can see what your gold is really worth and get guaranteed market rate for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Come visit the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas at the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones or online at maxpawnlv.com.
Is your auto loan rate higher than 1.99%? If so, consider refinancing with One Nevada, and we'll throw in no payments for 90 days if you qualify. And if you're buying a new car or truck, we can help with that too. Apply at onenevada.org or call us at 457-1000. One Nevada is open to all Clark County and Pahrump residents, federally insured by the NCUA Equal Opportunity Lender.
Have you ever wondered why prudent investors have gold in their portfolio? It's for protection. With all the economic uncertainty, gold is a perfect asset to help build your wealth. Gold is also a great inflation hedge. If you think money that's been printed over the past several years will lead to inflation, then gold helps you prepare. Blanchard & Company is the premier authority in precious metals and rare coins investing. With an unmatched depth of experience, Blanchard helps you achieve sustained financial success. Blanchard takes great pride in earning a reputation for integrity. And with Blanchard, you'll have a dedicated and experienced advisor who will be an advocate for your best interest. To that end, Blanchard's commitment to you includes a 100% buyback guarantee to purchase your investment back at any time. Call 888-410-GOLD or go to BlanchardGold.com for your free precious metals report. That's 888-410-GOLD.
The premier authority, Blanchard.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney, joined by the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn, Michael Mack. I'll be sure sticking around in studio. And the phone lines are completely open again in this segment. 257-5396. That's 257 KDWN. Get online with a fourth-generation pawnbroker and a guy that knows just about a little bit about everything, Michael, when it comes to the goods that folks have. You know just enough about everything to kind of give somebody a good idea on what they can expect out of an item. And that's the type of experience that only comes from being a fourth-generation pawnbroker. So 257-5396 is the number. And again, we've got a dozen donuts, courtesy of Windchills, to give away. We've also got DVD, CD prize packs from Beasley Broadcasting, and fun stuff from Max Pawn. So give us a buzz here on the show, 257-5396. Now, Michael, I'd like to start off with our jewelry report. Let's take it.
A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.
We know who's best friends with the diamonds, but what about the rest of the jewels? Here's your answer in this week's Jewelry Report.
All right, Michael, jewelry, specifically gold, silver, has been taking quite a roller coaster ride. And as we're going to hear later on all the Beasley broadcast stations in our gold report that we've published today, it's really been on a roller coaster. Tell us a little bit about this wild ride gold's been on.
Well, Dave, we were on a 6-month high as of last week, and then we're now, at a 7-month low as of today, as our gold report went out. And with a lot of the uncertainties out there now, the craziness with what happened in Malaysia and the uncertainty of this plane crash, we have still the uneasiness in Ukraine. That's what's made gold go up and I think surge so high. And for some reason, I think everyone thinks everything's good now. They found a few pieces of the parts of the plane, supposedly, and Ukraine, I guess, is okay. So gold took a tumble.
And
it's that simple. It's crazy.
It's so wild, though, because here we get these conflicting reports. I watch one news broadcast and it tells me the U.S. troops should be worried that Russia's going to get more troops than they need on the Ukraine border and
increase the border.
Exactly. So you would think, Michael, and we've talked about this over the last 3 years. You and I have really looked at the gold market and seen some incredible stuff. We've seen gold almost go to $2,000 an ounce, and we've seen where it is now, where it's back down to $1,291, losing roughly $100 week to date per ounce. And I just, I'm flabbergasted and really astounded that any kind of uncertainty, then quick certainty, would drive prices in this fashion. In your opinion, as a buyer, a seller of gold bullion, is there anything else behind this other than, public sentiment?
Well, a lot of people believe that, it's driven by, the demand for jewelry. And jewelry pretty much controls about less than 1% of what's demanded in the gold market every year. So there's nothing to do with what's happening in the jewelry industry. It's really world markets, and the world markets are uncertain. It used to follow the Dow Jones average. If Dow Jones would go down, gold would go up, and vice versa. There's been no clarity. There's been, as you know, Dave, I can't pinpoint it. What I do say to people, and in common, if you are sitting on gold and you need money, cash in. If you have the ability to sell off your place where you at least get your investment back and hold the rest. And that's probably the safest bet. But if you need cash, cash in, because more than likely you're in this gold lower than $800 an ounce, where it was, below $400 or $500 3-4 years ago, and you're in good shape. Similar to the housing market, when people had homes, that were 150, 200,000, and they skyrocketed to 600,000, and now they're back down to 150,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the market has a way to adjust itself, and I guess that's just what's been so crazy about the gold market because, as it seems that there's always more uncertainty worldwide. There's always something coming next, whether it's a natural disaster, a possible terrorist plot. It always seems like there's something threatening our security, and gold has generally been one of those stalwarts of security that when anything is going on worldwide that seems remotely upheavalist, gold starts to really rocket up because of the world markets. Something is definitely going on that I don't think anybody has been able to put their finger on it, and I can't tell, and Michael, we've talked about this too, if it's massive buying by, Chinese, Russian, and Afghanistani, or not Afghanistani, but Iranian governments, or if it's, an artificial, kind of an artificial price driving by holding back on supply. So something very interesting going on in the gold market, $12.91 this week.
Absolutely. And my heart goes out to those victims and families of the Malaysian crash.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't be forgotten, and it's a tragedy. But what also, as you mentioned, Dave, the uncertainty of future terrorism, because I think that brings to mind, this plane just vanishes, and the potential of terrorism also scares the markets like crazy.
Yeah, it sure does. And I'm still one of these people that thinks there had to have been some sort of cargo on that plane for it to go missing like that. Not the people necessarily, but somebody had something on a suitcase that was probably worth a little bit more than it should have been. That being the case, we're going to take our next caller here on the show. Michael, we've got Ron on the line with us. Ron's got a Lakers shirt he wants to ask us about, and Ron also is our dozen donut windshield winner. Ron, thanks for the call. How are you, buddy?
Very good, thank you.
Okay, Ron, tell us about your Lakers shirt.
It's an NBA Hardwood Classics, Jerry West.
It's a jersey
from the Lakers.
Yeah.
And it's brand new. I've had it for a few years, and I'm just wondering what the value on it is.
We the hardcourt jerseys are probably the best and the best looking, and we sell those on the average anywhere from $80 to $150. I think Jerry West would probably bring a higher demand because it's a rarer jersey. So if you're looking to sell it, we're buyers, and I'm a Lakers fan, so I always give a premium for any Laker fan.
Yeah, that's right. Get 10% more for every Laker piece of merchandise. Ron, it's really a great piece. Take it down to the corner of Sahara and Jones. You have to pick up your gift certificate for the dozen donuts from Winchell's anyways. So when you're there, show them the jersey and get kind of an idea of what that might be worth to you to sell.
And no obligation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, thanks so much, Ron. Again, the number to reach us here in the studio, 257-5396. That's 257-5396. Fourth-generation pawnbroker Michael Mack here to answer your questions. And, Michael, you weren't with us at the beginning of Live Las Vegas, but Kobe Bryant, speaking of Lakers, getting lambasted right now for not coming out in support of Trayvon Martin. As a Lakers fan, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I believe everyone has the right to their opinion. And I think that, he has his right. And like Al said earlier on the show, as I'm an avid listener and fan of Live in Las Vegas, it's not. It shouldn't be a racial issue. This is an issue where an older man shot a younger kid, and whether it was fair or unjust, he was not convicted. I think there was fingers that pointed in different directions. But the truth of the matter is it's a tragedy. Yeah. It's a tragedy for Trayvon and his parents, and to him and his family and all his friends, and to the gentleman who pulled the trigger, and to him and his family and friends.
Oh yeah, his life will never be the same, and it's a travesty to anybody that's going to be a neighbor of his now, because it carries around this circus environment for his entire life. This will never ever leave him, as it probably shouldn't. Now, that being said, I want to go into the Collector's Quarter, Michael, because we've got the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow coming up this weekend.
Ever wondered what your treasures are worth? Find out now on the Collector's Corner.
All right, Michael, the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow coming up this Sunday through Tuesday. That is March 30th through April 1st. Palace Station Hotel and Casino, easy to find off the 15 freeway and Sahara. The Fertitta Brothers' longest-standing operational casino. Awesome place to be, still is. It's gone through a number of revitalizations over the years, so the Palace Station is actually looking fantastic these days. If you haven't been down there recently, get on down.
Well, I haven't been in some time, but I was down to look over the room, the Grand Ballroom, right next to the buffet. There'll be signs pointing to the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow. Now, Palace Station really is something. It is the first Fertitta property before Stations Casinos, before they went public. It used to be the old Bingo Palace.
That's right.
That's how it started. And Frank Fertitta, father, who's no longer with us, started Bingo Palace, and as you can see, he launched the family into quite fortunes, the UFC fame, and everything else. The golden Midas touch of the Fertitta boys.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a great thing it's been for the city of Las Vegas. I mean, ever since the expansion of the Station Casinos with Boulder Station out to Green Valley, it's really been a wonderful thing for the folks here in town. A lot of jobs have been created by the Fertitta brothers. Now, Michael, for folks that are going down to the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow this weekend, I'm going to offer you up a couple of example items that I want you to play your role here and tell me how much I could be getting for these. The first item that I'm going to offer up to you is a 2010 Rolex watch. Perfect condition, gold with platinum in the middle. How much would I be getting for that at the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow?
Well, Dave, there's multiple versions of Rolex, and of course, it could be a stainless steel with a 18 karat.
Okay,
bezel.
that's the one it is.
So if that's the one, you're looking at retail value anywhere from $8,500 to $10,000 on a resale, depending on the age. Now, if it's a newer watch, we'll pay up to 70-80%.
Yeah, 2010.
So a 2010 watch, we're going to pay up to 80% value.
Fantastic.
And because the resale, Rolex doesn't discount a watch like that. So it's much like we talk about luxury, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Hermes. They don't discount. Rolex, they don't discount.
So it doesn't lose so much of the value.
So the resale is wonderful.
Wow.
So that's how we look at values.
All right, last thing here. I have got a brand new Hermes Birkin bag, okay? It's ox blood in color, one of the hottest of the season. What am I going to be looking at down here at the Great Estate Buyers Roadshow?
So impressed with your knowledge. Ox blood. You came with it. A color, too. A spring color.
Absolutely.
That's gonna be a $5,000 loan at $8,000.
All right, good. So get your
I'll
ox.
throw in $1,000 for Dave just because he said ox blood
gosh,
red.
It's all good stuff here on Pawn Talk Live, and right now we've got to step aside, take our final look at traffic here on the show. When we come back, Ashford Gordon from Mesa Pawn is going to be joining us here on Pawn Talk Live. Stay tuned.
It's 2:46 in the Kid-on-One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. Good news, a couple of accidents have cleared since we last spoke. One incident still active. NHP's on the scene, 215 southbound. That's north of Charleston. Also crashes Jones at Lone Mountain, Craig at Jones, Pecos at Stewart, that with injuries, and Craig at the 15. That's in the cleanup stage. For the Kid-on-One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
All 11 Ted Weens around town carry Michelin tires because many people think they're the best tires made, and because a lot of driving enthusiasts demand Michelin tires, and because many manufacturers recommend them. So Ted Weens makes sure you have the choice of world-renowned Michelin tires and a choice of Goodyear tires and Bridgestone and Firestone tires. So when you see us, you'll always have the best, smartest choice of premium tire brands anywhere in town at Ted Weens, because we really do care. A lot. Manufacturers like Ford and Chevy and Mercedes-Benz, they all have specific tires in mind when they build a car or truck. Tire brands and makes that work specifically well with their cars. So Ted Weens carries more brands of manufacturer-recommended tires than anyone in Vegas, and more choices of premium tire brands like Goodyear, Michelin, Firestone, and Bridgestone. So you can make your own smart choice and get exactly the tires your car or truck needs at Ted Weens, who really does care.
Attention military personnel. Are you responsible for acquiring and moving media assets? Are you a vet looking for a job in broadcasting? Come to NAB Show at the Las Vegas Convention Center on Wednesday, April 9, and attend a free Media Technologies for Military and Government Training workshop. Hear from retired General James Poss and Mars One co-founder Bass Lansdorf. Meet with major media companies looking to hire, plus resume writing, job tips, and more at the Career Fair. Register for free at nabshow.com.
Hi, this is Michael Mack, owner of world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas. You ever wondered what those valuables are worth? Had a pawn question but didn't know who to ask? I have the solution for you. Join me and Dave Carney every Friday from 2 to 3 for Pawn Talk Live here on News Radio 720 KDWN.
This is Jorge Gonzalez from the Opening Line Radio Show. Join us every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. to get in-depth analysis and free selections for the upcoming week of football right here on AM 720 KDWN.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN, streaming worldwide at KDWN.com. And you can find us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at PawnTalkLive.com. I'm, of course, Dave Carney, joined by the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn, fourth-generation pawnbroker, all-around great guy, Michael Mack, R&B recording superstar, legend Al B. Sure, and of course we've got another special person in here. We've got Michael's fiance Kat is in studio with us, taking a little look at the entire proceedings here. And I don't know if I'm going to ask her to come on and give us the gold report, but we might. Kat, be ready. We're going to put you on the spot. But right now, guys, we're going to bring on a gentleman who is, first of all, very near and dear to my heart. I was sharing with you guys off air that I started working in the Ashford Gordon Band when I was an 18-year-old kid in Central California, and Ashford Gordon became to me a seminal figure in not only music but life. Ashford now lives and works down in Mesa, Arizona, guys, and works with Mesa Pawn. Ashford, thank you so much for joining us today on Pawn Talk Live. How are you, buddy?
I'm very, very fine, Dave. Hello, everybody in the studio and all those of you out in Cyberland.
Hey, how's Arizona? I heard you had some dust blow through Phoenix and the valley there in the last few days.
We did. We have sandstorms here that are called haboobs. It's an Arab word for a dust storm that's like 12 miles wide and a mile high. So it gets pretty nasty.
I'm sure those people with allergies aren't liking that.
I don't think anybody could like that, man. I mean, that's just bad all the way around.
But they have a great basketball team.
Yes, they do, and coming up big last night. Now, Ashford, we could go on for hours because since I know you so well and know how much of a basketball fan you are, I'm not going to have you go into the discussion about the Lakers and Arizona, UCLA right now. That would take us all day. But Ashford is joining us today as our resident guest pawnbroker. Now, Ashford, not only are you still a working musician, a blues musician of the highest accord, working all around Central California and in Mesa, Arizona, but you're also one of the music experts at Mesa Pawn. Tell us a little bit about the pawn business down in Mesa and what it's like for you guys. Have you noticed a real pickup or slowdown with the economic, ups and downs?
Well, we are actually situated in Tempe, Apache Pawn in Tempe, which is right next to Mesa. Tempe is essentially a university town. It's Arizona State Territory, and that's pretty much what Tempe is. With the economic uptick, we have not. We've seen our pawn base fall, but we've seen more people coming in, buying items. Our buys have really busted up here in the last couple of 3 months. Of course, it is around tax time, so a lot of people will go out and buy things with their tax return. But gold being down, it's an interesting thing. Folks are coming in looking to buy gold coins, but nobody's wanting to sell because we're under $1,300 an ounce.
So, Ashford, it's nice to talk to a fellow pawnbroker, and I welcome you to come up and visit us at Max Pawn and see our new store when you visit Las Vegas, and we'll give you a tour. But, I'm quite familiar with Apache Pawn. I visited when I've been down to the Phoenix area. Great store, great look, and you guys should be proud of what you guys do down there. Do you guys see a lot of the students from Arizona State as your client base?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we do. In fact, right now we have quite a few iPads, iPods, MacBooks. Just about anything you could think of that a student might be able to turn over to get some money, to take a loan.
And
they're bringing them in.
You have some bikes down there as well?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, anything Apple, it's amazing, the Apple product. Anything Apple, it holds value, it stays strong. You compare an Apple computer, a MacBook Pro, a Lite, to a laptop of any
Dell,
sort.
an Ace, or anything, right?
The value stays strong, and those Dells, they just fall right off, and I'm sure it's the same for you, Ashford, down there.
Absolutely. I got a Dell on the shelf that we've had a laptop out for probably 8 months, and there are no bites. Other laptops fly off the shelf, but not Dell.
So, Ashford, I got to ask, you're a musician, I'm sure that you have your eye out when a nice guitar flies in there. What do you got on the shelf? You have anything really cool on the shelf?
Yeah, I got a beautiful blonde Gibson Melody Maker.
Ooh.
It's the exact same guitar that I recently saw Keith Richards playing on one of their recent concerts. I was kind of impressed because it's a natural finish but painted blonde.
Wow.
So it doesn't have that high sheen like most of the guitars. But this thing is beautiful. It plays well. It's just a gorgeous little instrument, and it's going for a good price. So,
how old is that guitar?
It is a 2002.
So it's 12 years old.
Yeah.
And what's the price of it?
We're selling that for $400.
Oh man,
$399.
that's a steal. Can
All
I?
right, so
can I have
the
that drop
address
shipped to my
is
house?
6040 West Sahara. My credit card number is 0641994.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Asher, we're actually buyers because we do have a great client base. So you do get great items in. Give me a holler from time to time, and we can probably move merchandise back and forth and help out students in your area. I do get a lot of musicians through our area, and what a great item. If people were to get a hold of you at Ashford, Ashford, I'm already selling the store to you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Give
At
them
Apache
the whole
Pond,
thing.
how can they get a hold of you, and what is your website?
We do not have a website that is up and running right now. It's in transition. But our number is 480-839-8084. And my email address is mashford
at gmail.com.
At AOL.com.
At AOL.com. You're going the old school one.
I'm going
Ashford.
way old
Oh, man. I'm gonna have to give that out again later in the kind of quick talk that only I can do.
Well, if that guitar doesn't get sniped up in the next few minutes by one of our listeners, Ashford, call me down at Max Pond. I think I want to put that on our rack, and that sounds like a great deal.
Oh, it sounds like a fantastic deal. And, in Ashford, let me ask you here because, you mentioned there's, no website yet for the pawn store, which I guess a lot of pawn stores now, they've got this, huge web presence. With you guys being in the middle of Tempe, I kind of imagine that's not exactly a problem that you have, is really finding folks, to come into your store. What's the general traffic count like in a store like that?
We're at about maybe 75, 80
Wow.
people a day, including folks in the pond base. But we get a lot of lookers, we get a lot of buyers, we get a lot of sellers. So it is really busy, but we're on the main drag of Tempe University Drive.
Man, I tell you what, I didn't go to college, but I visited UCSB and I visited UCLA. I think I'm going to visit Arizona State because I have heard that is one of the sexiest colleges in all of America. And Ashford, while I'm down there, I know I'm going to be needing a few $1,000s so that I can keep up with the 20-year-olds. I'll pawn off some of my stuff, come in there, and then, I'll tape a couple of the $100 bills to my shirt. That's worked before. It might work again. Before we let you go, though, Ash, because we're coming up on the end of the show, got about a minute and a half before we got to take off. Tell our listeners out here about what you're doing specifically as well in the music industry, because we know that your son, Nate, and everybody else is doing fantastic. What are you doing right now, Ash?
I'm working on two new CD projects. One, a collaboration with a writing partner of mine from 30-some years ago out of New York. That CD is entitled The Route of It All. We're looking to actually do recording in June. And then a second project out of the Tony Bronigal studio and Johnny Lee Schell in L.A. With producer Pat Rogers. So I'm still trucking along, man, at my mature age.
Oh, well, let me tell you what. I've seen every one of your pictures on Facebook, and the older you get, the better looking that you get. So there is absolutely no sympathy on my part for you on that. I'm sorry. I've got none. And the guy still sings some incredible tunes. You know what? Find this guy online, Ashford Gordon. You will not be disappointed. One of the seminal rhythm and blues guitarists in the West Coast for the last 25 years. Personal hero of mine. Ash, thanks for coming on the show.
My absolute pleasure. Bye, guys. And, Michael, I'll get in touch with you.
I love it, Ashford. I'm looking forward to meeting you in
Hey,
person.
Ashford, guess what? You might even get Darius Rucker on something with you because he's a very big fan of Arizona.
There we go. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. We'll see you
Al.
next Friday on Live in Las Vegas and Pawn Talk Live. For Al, for Mike, I'm Dave. Bye-bye. Luxury shops in Las Vegas aren't new. What is new, however, is luxury meeting value. At the world-famous Max Pawn, we specialize in marrying the two. With some of the finest selections of watches, designer handbags, sunglasses, and more, the luxury never stops. Every day, new items are added in-store and online. From Gucci and Chanel to Hermes and Louis Vuitton, Max Pawn delivers all the top luxury brands at a fraction of the price. Visit us online at maxpawnlv.com or browse our showroom in Las Vegas. The world-famous Max Pawn, where luxury meets value.
Nevada. All we do is fix credit. Need a short sale, judgment, tax lien removed from your credit? We can do it now. Credit Restoration of Nevada. Call us today at 702-778-2000.
Need your news fix? Get the news you want anytime, day or night at KDWN.com. Local, state, national, and international news, plus sports, entertainment, and weather is always just a mouse click away. KDWN.com, where locals find their news. A new day, a new